Hello, hello. I'm just doing an update. I've considered making a whole separate YouTube channel for like our vlog style videos like this. And a lot of this sort of content where I'm just giving updates and things like that. Not necessarily like a really good YouTube video.
For about 23 miles, continue straight.
But, you know, just random thoughts while I'm driving, updates, things like that. I normally put that on our Facebook or Instagram. But I'm torn because, you know, some of this information might be good. You know, there's people that only follow us on YouTube and they wouldn't see it, you know, on some of those other platforms unless they're following us there. If you're not following us there, maybe try, you know. We do put content on there sometimes that we don't put on YouTube. But anyway, so I'm trying something new. Let me know if you like this kind of a video on YouTube. Depending on, you know, how that goes, then I may or may not continue to do it. You know, I may make a whole nother channel just for the vlog style, you know, type stuff, you know. But anyway, thought I would give a little bit of an update. I'm on my way to my new job right now. It's been interesting since we sold my little heating and air company. I don't know if it's just that I never paid attention before. You know, I think I did, but maybe I just didn't notice. But you know, I'm starting to see companies that I didn't normally see in our area, you know, and I wonder if that's because we are not there. There's a hole, you know, we've left. You know, we weren't a huge company, but I'd gotten up to 11 employees, and some of our customers, you know, used us, and now there's a hole there. They've got to figure out who they're going to use. Are they going to use the company that bought Griffin Air, or are they, you know, going to choose someone else? I'm sure there's a decision to be made there, you know. So anyway, it's just been interesting to me seeing some of the companies that I've never seen before in our area popping up here and there in our area more than I used to see them, you know. And I don't know if that's just a coincidence or if it's actually because of that. I will say some of our previous customers, you know, they're either reaching out to me, you know, because they're, you know, actually relatives in some way or whatever, you know, I'm just bumping into them. And, you know, they're letting me know who they're choosing and things like that. And sometimes I'm like, really, you know, you don't have us anymore. So now you're going with that company. You know, it's just been interesting. I'm not going to give an opinion one way or the other on particular companies. It's been a little interesting as far as that goes. So anyway, I thought that was interesting, you know, as far as an update on that. The other thing that I have been realizing with the new job is, you know, there's certainly a need, for training in our industry, especially as these new technologies become more and more prevalent. Heating and air, you know, as an industry, there's certain things that even guys that have been doing this a while are now having to learn. One of those being these new refrigerants, you know, and I only bring that up because it's interesting to see how some of these companies are you know, doing these trainings. If you're just joining us, this is just something I'm trying. I'm doing a live update, and I'm doing it. I usually do this sort of stuff on our Facebook or Instagram, and I'm just trying this out. So if you like this, let me know. I'll do more of these, more updates, if you will, live updates on our YouTube channel. I've never done it before, but if you like it, you know, I'll do more of it, you know. The numbers are really good compared to our Tuesday night live shows. So I don't know, maybe we'll do more of it. Let's see if I can see the chat here while we're driving. I'm not trying to do anything unsafe, but yeah. So anyway, yeah, so the new refrigerants, I think I was talking to a guy yesterday and he's like, you know, we need more training. And I'm like, well, what is the training? You know, because there's something to be said for, we need to be trained on how to use the new refrigerants, right? You know, there's that. But there's also, you know, something to be said for each state is treating the new refrigerants differently. And that is a concern, right? Because you need to not just be doing trainings. I don't think just doing trainings is going to be enough in some states. Some states are going to say, to handle these new refrigerants, you need to be certified with this new certification, right? You know, maybe your old refrigerant, you know, EPA card may or may not cover these new A2L refrigerants. And now you're like, well, I did 2 trainings this past year on handling the new refrigerants. I feel comfortable, you know, handling them. You know, I think there's always something to be said for a little bit of common sense. Some of the guys that have always done things correctly anyway, are going to be just fine, right, with the new refrigerants. And by the way, that's my belief. So if you have always been doing things correctly, you've always handled refrigerants correctly, you've always recovered them correctly, it's odd to me that some of the stipulations, if you will, with the new refrigerants, some of these companies are like, or not companies, but some of the education coming out, I'm like, well, shouldn't guys have been doing it that way anyway, you know? And so they're saying things like, well, with the old refrigerants, it was recommended. Now it's, now with the new refrigerants, it's required. That's some of the verbiage that I'm seeing, right, on handling the new refrigerants. So anyway, my point in saying all that is, if you're a heating and air pro and you've always done things correctly anyway, well, you're going to be just fine with the new refrigerants. What does my sleeve say? It's Daikin and Goodman, the company I work for, do trainings on. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing trainings on some of those products. I don't work for Daikin or Goodman, but I work for a company now that provides some of their products. So anyway, so my point in saying all of this is, if you're a heating and air guy that's always done things right anyway, you've always done things correctly, you've always recovered refrigerants correctly, you've always you know, weighed things in, and you've always, you know, just done everything properly, then I think you'll be just fine handling the new refrigerants. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the trainings and certification in certain states where they say, hey, to buy this new refrigerant, we're going to require you to pass this test or hold this certification or card, right? And so I think that's a concern for me anyway. I don't know about for everyone else, but I would not want to be willy-nilly running around doing all these different trainings, wasting my time, especially if I'm already doing everything correctly, and then find out that I don't know. I'm just obviously a little gun shy because of the schooling that I had years ago, where I went through 4 years of schooling only to find out that they actually didn't apply towards the hours that I needed to get my journeyman's card, like the school said it would. And training's good, especially if you're learning stuff, right? If you are wanting to be more comfortable with these new refrigerants, and you're going to do trainings to become more educated, and all that's good stuff. But I'm just, obviously, I've been burned in the past, and I wouldn't want to be one of those guys that's running around doing 5 different trainings. The guy I talked to yesterday, he's already had 2. He's already taken 2 separate classes from one of his local distributors on the new refrigerants. And I never really got any feedback as far as did he feel like those were beneficial or not. But when I heard that, I was like, man, I wouldn't want to, he's had 2. He's not even been able to buy a product in our state with A2L refrigerants in them. And he's already taken 2 classes. So let's just say ultimately he ends up taking 5 classes, and he finds out that none of those classes actually qualify him for that certification. It's just a concern. I wouldn't want to waste my time, right? That's just my feelings on it, good or bad. We'll see, Anyway, what's everybody up to today? If you, all right, I know there's a couple of pros on here. What are you fixing today? I'm just curious. What are you, what parts are you putting in, or what brand and all that good stuff? I've got a video that's going to launch today that I actually think is really good, by the way. I think it's going to come out this evening. There's a website that goes through more information on a lot of the alternative refrigerants and products out there. And do you still have any Griffin Air hats? I do still have some Griffin Air hats. Maybe we'll do another product giveaway on our live show soon. I've probably got a dozen or more of them still. Maybe more. I've got cups galore. The girl that was working with us, she bought like 500 cups to give away. We were going to give them away for every estimate that we did. We would give them a Griffin Air, Turvis, like one of the ones that you can put, a drink in and it stay hot or cold, And I think we still have over 300 of them left. I mean, I'm just throwing numbers out there. I don't know if it's over 300, but it's a bunch, man. There's box after box in our shop, our old shop, of these cups for a company that is no longer, a company that was bought. I don't want to say it's not in business. It was bought by a company that's still doing business, but Griffin Air as a company on its own is no longer doing business, So anyway, I've got a whole bunch of cups to give away. I don't want to just throw them away. That would be wasteful. They're good cups. They're nice cups. They're those Turvis style cups. The other thing that's interesting about my new job, where I'm training other contractors, is the company that I'm working for spans a very large area. So, I'm going to be doing trainings sometimes 3.5 hours away from my house, which I don't think that's actually that uncommon. The guy that my rep for Daikin, he spans multiple states, so that's not uncommon, but I don't know. I guess I just didn't realize. A couple of the places we've been to, I'm like, I'm pretty far from home right now, I'd be curious, for some of you guys that are pros, what kind of trainings do you think that your distributors specifically should be offering more? I'm getting answers, and some of them are normal and some of them are surprising, but I'd be curious what some of you guys would say to that. What kind of trainings you think should be offered, not by your school, but by specifically your local distributor of your heating and air products. I'd be curious to see that. Okay. So one guy's asking, what are the new refrigerants? So we're phasing out, or phasing down. Sorry, if you say phasing out, some people seem to get their panties in a wad. It's not phasing out, but phasing down 410A refrigerant, which basically means we're working every couple of years, it goes away by a percentage. And by the beginning of next year, equipment with 410A refrigerant will no longer be able to be sold in the United States to residential, customers. And so because of that, companies are coming out with, they're going to be coming out with, some of them already have, and some of them are coming with products with different, what I call new refrigerants. They're new to the US, lower GWP ratings, and they're supposed to be better for the environment. And it's been odd to me how they're not all on board with one product or another, one refrigerant, unlike the past. And I think there's reasons for that. I actually like the route.
10 miles, take a slight right turn to merge onto I-64 East.
I particularly like the route that Daikin is taking. In fact, even folks that sell other products have said, I've heard them say, they kind of wish the brand they sold was, they were taking the route that Daikin is, and that is, Daikin is staying with R32, which R32, it's a single blend refrigerant. It's been used for years in other countries. It's tried and true. It's been proven, and it's more efficient than 410A. It is an A2L, just like R454B is, which is what a lot of the other companies are going with. But it's actually R32 is one of the refrigerants that make up the blended refrigerants that are R410A and R454B. So for customers that say, well, I don't want R32 in my house, it's already in your house. If you have a 410A system, it's got R32 in the blend, of refrigerant. So, and I've done other videos on that. Check that out. R32reasons.com is the website that goes through some of the information. I think my Daikin Atmosphera was fixed. Nice. Videos is texting me. So anyway, this is a little different than the type of videos I normally do, but if you guys like them, I'm going to do more of them. I think I often have updates, on the industry or news, if you will, but they sometimes don't even make it to a video because, maybe it's not good enough for a standalone video, and maybe this is where I can give some of that information, right? I had a question yesterday. A guy was asking me, when are these products going to come out? Because some of you guys are waiting. You've either band-aided your existing 410A system, summer's coming, and some of the folks are saying, when are they going to come out? I'll say, I know a little bit more than maybe the average bear, but I don't know a lot more. So it's not like I know something you don't on that timeline. They're saying that by January 1st of next year, 410A equipment's got to be gone, right? So it'll be interesting to see, some companies, I bet, will kind of wait until, the last minute. They're going to wait till October, November to start transitioning. That's what we kind of saw with the SEER 2 equipment. They waited to the last minute because there's a price increase. But regardless of the prices, some customers are just simply waiting on the new refrigerants. So if I'm a manufacturer, I don't think you need to wait that long. You don't need to wait till the last minute worried that you're going to lose market share because of the price increases on the new equipment, because some customers are going to go with the new refrigerants anyway because they know that 410A refrigerant is going to be outrageously priced fast forward 10 years from now. It's going to be more sparse and it's going to be harder to get a hold of, So I think that if they're smart, they're not going to wait until fall. You know, some of them might just go. I know Daikin went ahead and rolled out the Atmosphera ductless unit last year. You know, they didn't waste any time on that product. So maybe that, you know, plays a role in this too. You know, some of these manufacturers are gonna, I think any day now we could see some announcements. You know, we're getting close to springtime. If I was a manufacturer, I'd have them out by summertime. I'd go ahead and start looking at rolling some of this stuff out. They might be surprised the business they get if they're first in line to get some of this new stuff out. You know, I don't know. That's just my thought. Nobody's giving me any inside information on that. Sometimes I wish that was, you know, I wish I was a bigger deal and folks would give me a little more inside information, but you know, they don't. So they say, Josh, you're not a big deal. Let's see. Does anyone recognize you from YouTube at the trainings? Yes. Ryan, it's funny you asked that. A couple of the you know, techs or you know, pros, they'll say, yeah, I've seen your YouTube videos. And I'll say, is that a good thing? Because as some of you know, well, maybe you don't know, I've made some people mad with some of my videos. I've gotten hate mail, emails where they're, you know, telling me all these things. I had one guy tell me, you know, I deserve to die, all this crazy stuff. And just because I was telling people how to unlock a thermostat. I've never been a DIY channel, and I think there's too much. I think there are certain things that, you know, people should not be DIYing. And I know that's something that people disagree on, but you know, there's just certain things that unless you are certified and trained to work on it, maybe you shouldn't, you know. It's like, I don't know, anything else that's dangerous. And I get pushed back on that. Some of you may disagree with that, but just Google refrigerant burns. If you just Google that, you may understand better about where I'm coming from with that. So anyway, I've never been a DIY channel, but I have given information out that some pros would rather keep secret. They don't want you to know how to unlock a thermostat, or even though it may belong to you, you know. Some pros don't want you to know that they change their pricing in the summertime because they're more busy. And they'll say, well, Josh, you're dumb. That's supply and demand. Well, okay, but it's still true. You change your pricing in the summertime because you're more busy. And so maybe a customer might, if what they need done, if they can wait till the fall, maybe they'll save a couple bucks knowing that, you know? So anyway, some pros, they don't like transparency. They don't like folks to be honest. Some pros, and in fact, I think the good ones are okay with you knowing that. They're okay with you knowing that, hey, we're a little slower in the fall and maybe even the winter, depending on where they're located. And, you know, they would almost rather you wait. As long as you're still going to use them. They call it the shoulder season. If you can wait till the shoulder season, but you're still going to call me, I'd rather you wait, you know. I'll definitely take care of what you need there, that little bit of duct work, you know. So anyway, Ryan, yeah, I've asked them, you know, they'll say, I've seen your videos, and I'll say, is that a good thing? And most of them have said, yeah, they don't care, you know, but I think that's funny. Those of you that have put messages in there, I'm driving, so when I stop at a stoplight, I try to read them, but I'm not trying to be unsafe here, you know. The area that I drive to, for those of you that know Virginia at all, there's tunnels that go under the Chesapeake Bay. And so there's two main tunnels. I think there's other means of, you know, crossing the James River and stuff, but there's two main tunnels that go from the Hampton Roads area over into the Virginia Beach area. And it's funny because sometimes my GPS will switch from one to the other. Sometimes I don't I know if the tunnels were clear, one would be better than the other. But I always follow the GPS now because it'll say sometimes, hey, you're going to be sitting in traffic if you try to go through that tunnel right now. I think they're working on one of them, trying to make it better, or more lanes. But it does affect, if there's a fender bender or whatever, if there's traffic backed up in a tunnel, obviously then you would choose the other tunnel. So I guess it's good they have two, because I don't think that's always been the case either. So anyway, yeah, if you are just joining us, I like I say, I'm going to do more of these if folks like them. Updates on our YouTube channel, heating and air, industry updates and things like that, and then life updates, if you will, when it comes to the new job and stuff. I've got this, I've got to figure out where to start. The company I'm working for, they have never done trainings to the degree that we're planning on doing them now. So I've got to figure out where to start, and I think some of that's pretty clear with some of this, and then some of it may not be, right? Some of it might be trial and error and change it up as we go. But there's always something to be said for guys that are starting out and they need some basic stuff. And then the other thing we've been getting is some of these newer products with newer technologies. They want more training with that, So anyway, I'm kind of between a rock and a hard place here, because I don't want to read your comments while I'm driving, but I also don't want to not answer your questions. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Again, if you like this video, or you want more of this type of stuff, updates live, aside from our live show, as I'm learning new things, or industry news, updates, things like that, let me know, and I'll do more of these. A friend of mine, he does marketing for heating and air guys, and he'll go on Instagram live, and one of the things he does is he counts the different companies as he goes to work if he sees their vans, so he'll count them. It's kind of something interesting that he does. And I don't know if he still does it, but that's something he used to do. I always thought that was kind of interesting. So anyway, guys, I appreciate your support. Hit that subscribe button if you're not a subscriber. That always helps. And we'll see you soon.
In 1 mile, take a slight right turn to merge onto I-64 East.